Hello everybody, I'm your friendly neighborhood Let's Player Spider-Man, and I welcome you to Let's Play Millenium 2.2 by Electric Trees. Here in the beginning we see that the Earth has turned into, well, pretty much a wasteland, and here we have the moon. The premise of the game is the Earth has turned into a really uninhabitable planet because of us, humans. It's full of unstable storms, and the land has turned into pretty much wasteland. The waters are polluted and all that. But we managed to get at least 100 people onto the moon, into a moon station. And they have the mission of trying to see if we can get the human race back up into the solar system. But there's a little catch. There are Martians, and they do not like us humans. So we're pretty much trapped on the moon for now. But with a little tenacity and a little mind, intelligence, wisdom, we might survive this. So without further ado, let's get into this magnificent, peaceful strategy game that I really love. I'm not really used to lots of strategy games, but this is one that I adore. And this beginning music, I'm really ruining it by talking over it, but it's really, how should I say it? Very je ne sais quoi. But let us just dive into the game, and I'll show you how it goes. Welcome to Millenium 2.2. Here we have the moon base. As we started in the solar system, we can zoom out. We can see here's the Earth and the moon. Then we can see the inner system, and there's the outer system. And that's how far you can zoom. You can advance by an hour. You can advance by a day. But the minutes advance all the time in real time. So when 1 minute passes in real time, 1 minute passes in the game, which is kind of clever. Then we have the database here. We can see all the data about the planets and moons that we have discovered. We got the crafts roster where we can see our spaceships that we have constructed. We have the bulletin board, which shows us all the info that's been happening lately. We have the file access, which is for saving and loading the game. We have a log here, which is mostly just telling you how many crafts you have, colonies, and your total population of all the colonies. And I'm not sure what the CTR stands for. So, and here we have the colonies, which we have none right now because we only have the moon base. So at the moon base, we have the life support, which shows that we are human, and we have 100 capacity, and we have 100 population. And here we have our energy systems. We have the Mark 1 for now, which is obvious because we only just started. Then we have our defense lines here, but we don't have any fighters or orbital lasers. Orbital lasers are very difficult to make, so we will get to those later. For now, we're going to make some fighters when we can. We have the production line here. We can produce for now a probe, a nodule, and a Sologen Mark 1. I'm going to start with a probe. But we don't have any material yet, because we haven't started the resources. Every colony has a mining facility for resources. So let's turn that one on. It requires to have a colony to have a population of at least 50. To operate the mining facilities. And here we can see how many kilograms of the material we get per day. So for the oxygen, when well, I'll show you if I advance one day further. But before I do that, let's get to the projects. Here we have the research projects. We can search for all the planets that are around when we have probed them. You cannot search when they're red. When they're yellow, you can research any subject. Like in transportation, I can research any of these: the Grazer, Waverider, Karak, and SIOS. The Grazer is a spaceship miner. Well, it's a miner spaceship. Would be a more appropriate name for it. The Waverider is a really fast small ship. The Karak is a really big bulky ship for transporting all sorts of equipment and perhaps resources if you need to. And the SIOS is for colonization, but we're not going to build any of these because we don't have the resources for it yet. Then we have the weaponry. We can make a fighter or an orbital laser, but the orbital laser, like I said, is going to be later. We don't have any resources to make anything, but also we haven't researched these things yet. Then we have the supplementary. We had the nodule is already researched. The nodule adds a nodule into the life support. So we can grow, we can make, in total, we can make 5 nodules, so we will have 600 people on the moon base in total later on. And the other is a bunker where we can stash some of our stuff. Just equipment. We can stash in there in case something bad happens. And here is the most important thing that you need for the start. The Solar Gen Mark II. The further we go on the tree here, we get the next mark as we research them. But for now, let's get some resources so we can make our first probe. So let's advance per day. There we go. 1 day gone by, and here you can see that in the thousands it shows. So if any resource material for the kilograms per day goes over 1,000, that is the number they give you per day. As you can see, this was over 2,000 per day, so it gives you 2. The next day it will be 5, because when you add up, it will be 5. Simple math. So that's how it goes. With the colonizations, it's not going to be easy because I really don't remember all the really important ones except a few. So this is going to be a very long let's play. Well, not very long. It's just a few hours, but still quite a long one. And we'll just see what happens. So we got some. We got silica, iron, titanium, aluminum, and oxygen. So now I can produce 1 probe. As you can see, it takes away from the resources, but that's how it goes with anything. You need more resources to make more stuff. And as we have also advanced per day, you can see that the progress has gone up. So this takes only a few days to make, and the probe always takes 5 days, 4 to 5 days to make. So probes are really fast to create or produce, you could say. And as you can see, we just advanced. There you go. It was just 4 days. It's done. Or 5 days. Whatever. So the probe is done, and the research is done. So now I can go to Solar Gen Mark III. And I can produce Solar Gen Mark II. But it says insufficient power. That's because this is on. As you have seen, it only gives outputs 100 kilowatts. And turning this on, when it says already, present output of moon-based generator is too low. We cannot run the refinery. That is because the refinery takes 30 kilowatts to work. So, we can only produce this for now. And I didn't show you this, but this is the flight base, and this is where all the spacecrafts go, and we can have 8 in total at one time. So we have the probe on the Bay 1, you always need to name the craft before you send it away. So let's name this one Test, because it's a test probe that we send. It doesn't need any crew. It cannot carry any equipment or resources because, hey, it's just a probe. So with that done, let's launch it into space. And now that we zoom out, we can see that the test is on the orbit of the moon. And when we click on it, it shows us what we can do. We can make it land, which will take 45 minutes for it to land. Or we can set a course where we want it to go. Or we can just set it on autopilot and it will continue to orbit the moon. But since we need to go into outer space, let's set it out. Let's set it out to, I don't know. How about Jupiter? Let's just set it out there into the wild. Go into outer space, into Jupiter. See if there's any kind of living things there or something. With that with the course set, we just put it on autopilot and hope for the best. Now let's advance it per day. Special bulletin. Mars Colony Commander, communic. As disappear form of the human race, the people of Mars claim all rights to Earth, to all her lands and resources. You, people of the moon, are ordered to remain within the bounds of your colony. If any craft is launched from moon base, it will be considered hostile, and a state of war shall exist between us. Message ends. So yeah, as you can see, the Martians are fucking douchebags. They didn't give this warning before we launched anything outer space. They send it as we send something into space. So, it's war right away. Yeah, they're douchebags. Assholes. So from now on, we're at war with Mars. So we have to have some defense. But they don't attack right away. So I'm gonna wait until that is done. I'm gonna turn it on. Then I'm gonna turn back the resources on. With that research done, let's research the fighter for now. Moon-based traffic control has lost contact with one of our probes. They say it has been destroyed in the asteroid belt, probably by a collision. Navigation of unmanned craft through the asteroids is impossible, and in future, we will direct remote-controlled probes to avoid them altogether. So as you can see, well, fighter research complete, but test contact lost because it was hit by an asteroid. So test is gone. But that always happens. But with the fighter research done, now we can actually build one, and you really only need one. And here it says it requires 220 kilowatts, and we had only 230. So I turned the resources once again off, and you can see, boom, it's making it. We really need to make a Mark III soon. And there we have it, fighter done. Now we have some defense. One fighter, but we only need one for now. You really don't need more than two altogether throughout the whole game. Trust me. With that done, let's put the resources back on. Now let's start making a Sologen Mark III. It only demands for 120 kilowatts, so I don't have to turn the resources anymore off. It shows that it's on the red, but that's because it has a high demand on the output. So now I don't have to worry about the energy levels anymore that much. Because now on it's gonna be easy peasy with the power resources because it goes just higher and we don't need to worry about energy loss that much anymore. So let's make another probe for now. Because it's time that we go investigate the surrounding areas to find more habitable planets and maybe possible colonizations, right? Right. Moon base emergency! It seems there were major production faults in the first Mark III generator, which has caused an explosion in the power center. Fortunately, there were no casualties, but the generator stores have been totally destroyed. We are now on battery power. This happens every time. Don't worry, this happens every time. So let's make a Mark I again. With that done, let's just keep on building those. And also, let's start researching for Mark IV. We just need to make those again. I know that the resources are turned off, but I need them to be turned off for now. But I can actually turn them back on again. Alright, research complete. How much for this one now? A few days. So this is pretty much the whole game here from now on. Make stuff, research stuff, and hopefully in the future you can actually go somewhere. But for now I'm actually gonna make a grazer, because the grazer is gonna be important. And gonna make that probe, because it only takes a few days to make. There we go. This is a very easy game. It's not a really hard game to go by, because it has a very easy learning curve. I used to play this quite a lot back in the day. And I think my personal best of getting into the end of the game was in 5 years game time. Because I knew which planets to go to, and I knew how to get the items as fast as possible, and I knew how to progress the story. But now, I don't really remember which planets to go to, so I'm gonna go just through all of the planets that there is, all the planets and the moons, and we'll just see what happens. It's more fun that way. The game's gonna take a long while to play through because of that, but hey, that's how it goes. C'est la vie. Let's put that number 4 in there now. And let's make that grazer. I still have the probe, don't I? So let's name this one Earth. I always name the probes with the planet that I intend to send them to. That's a lot easier to remember than just giving them like number 1 or number 2 or number 3. And then you forget, where was I supposed to send this? So, with it named Earth, let's send it on its way. So let's go back to the probe and let it land. It takes only 1 hour. So now in the colonization we have Earth, and we can research it. So let's see what happens. And that's almost done too. Earth research. Research is on planets and moons always take 4 days. Unstable planet. Probe indicates massive storms and volcanic activity. However, this seems to be gradually subsiding. Very interesting. So there could be possibility that we can go back to Earth someday. With that researched, let's research the next energy. It's always good to go for the solar gens first, because they're the most important things for you to make. But now that we have the grazer, I'm gonna give it a very silly name. Meteor! Let's assign some crew to it, because it needs 4 crew to operate. Then launch it. Meteor is gonna be our collector. Like I said, it's a minor spaceship. You always send these to the asteroids. And it always takes 22 days and 2 hours for them to go there and back. So I was researching 5. Yep. So let's just make probes. Actually, I'm gonna make can I make a nodule? Not enough nitrogen. How much nitrogen do I have? 13 only. Okay. So not gonna make a nodule for a while. Let's make another fighter. Continuing on with everything, we just go and go on and go forth. It's gonna be very exciting once I find a planet that I can inhabit. Oh, the research is done. Good. So let's make a Mark V. Now, let's see. Database. You cannot send a probe to Mars or Phobos or Deimos to the Mars's moons because the Martians will destroy it. So those are the 3 places that you cannot investigate for now. Mercury and Venus are pretty much useless to probe because, hey, they're hot as hell, so very uninhabitable. But, let me think. What was the best place to start with? There is a... it's one of the Jupiter's moons, that's for sure. Well, let's start with the Jupiter's moons. Let's start with those, so let's get it to Amalthea first. No, I don't want to... get away. So, to Amalthea. Launch. Set course to Amalthea. 41 days. Always takes a long time to get to the outer system places. So be expecting to have to wait for a long time for the probes. That production is done. And I forgot to put the next research on. So let's make another probe. It usually would be a good idea to have actually 2 grazers for the asteroid fields, but I'll just use 1. Probe production complete. Let's make another one. Probe production complete. Let's make another one. Nothing but probes and probes. Research complete. Probe done. So let's make a Sologen Mark 6. Now we got 3 probes. So let's see. Io Europa Ganymede. Io. Launch. Europa and Ganymede. And I don't want to know about Charon because I don't have any reason to. Europa, Ganymede. Europa. Ganymede. Okay. With this sent into space, let's start research on the Mark 7. So let's set to Io. Set course to Europa. Then this one to Ganymede. And there they go into their designated locations. I'm building a 7 there, researching a 6, researching a 7. Everything looking good for now. With no attacks from the Martians, although I know they'll attack soon. With resources going up high, I'm gonna end the video here. I hope you enjoyed the start of this magnificent adventure into space. And I hope that you continue watching this playthrough of this, because I am going to enjoy this thoroughly. This is a very enjoyable game, and I highly recommend it for anyone who enjoys strategy games. Kind of like Civilization or something like that. Right, this is more unique, so I cannot really compare it to others. It's got some similarities to like StarCraft and like Civilization. You need resources to get better stuff, but this doesn't really have all the action that the StarCraft or anything else like that has. It has those sporadic times when the Martians attack. So you just have to. They just happen to attack when they feel like it. You really don't know when they're gonna attack. That's the annoying part of the Martians. They attack very sporadically. Usually taking a few months between their attacks, so not so much fun to expect. So you really cannot expect when they attack. But with that done and that said, I hope you have a good evening, good afternoon, and a good morning, and I will see you all later. Take care, people. Bye.